now like to go over a concept known as Azure Virtual WAN. So this is Azure Virtual Wide Area Network is what what that basically stands for. Now, traditionally in networking, you would have different locations, right? So, for example, we'll say that these ovals are going to represent different locations at our company. Okay. You could also say different sites if you want, different regions. Now, these regions could be all over the world. They don't necessarily have to be, regions in the United States or anything like that. You could have a region in the U.S. You could have a region in Australia or UK or whatever. But ultimately, let's say you've got location 1, you've got location 2. This could, again, if you wanted to stay with just in the United States, you could say, New York, you could say Dallas, Texas, Orlando, or you want to say US, UK, Canada, Australia, whatever. You could basically set that to whatever you want. Doesn't matter if you're in different regions, but ultimately, in the past, you'd have different servers. You'd also have client computers, and in these different locations at your company, you would generally need to somehow make these computers connect, right? So, again, different servers and different client computers in each location, and one of the things that we would always need to make happen in a lot of cases is allow connectivity between these locations. Now, there's a couple of ways we could do this. One thing we could do is we could do what's called WAN connections, and we could pay a telecommunication provider to provide us with telecommunications equipment that could connect these locations together, okay, through the telecommunications network. And you would pay, of course, a fee to do that. Alternatively, another thing we could do is we could do what's called a site-to-site VPN, where we would actually have VPN routers that we would use in each location, and we could use a site-to-site VPN. Or in the Microsoft world, we also could use a RAS site-to-site VPN server. So we could set up a RAS server, do a site-to-site VPN, and we could do that through the internet. Okay. So ultimately, though, what Microsoft is now offering us the ability to do is we can use their Azure network to essentially take care of this. This little cloud that I'm kind of cleaning up here is going to represent the Azure network, okay? And so we could use the Azure cloud itself, the Azure network itself, as a means to allow traffic to pass between these locations. On top of that, on the Azure network, we've also got our VNets, right? Virtual networks. And we've got, connected to those VNets, we've got, VMs. We've got virtual machines. It could be servers, workstations, all of that stuff that's out in the cloud. And, of course, that's connected to the Azure network as well. And what we want to do is make connectivity. So the way that, we would normally do this is two main ways. We could get what's called a VPN router, okay, or another option was something called ExpressRoute. ExpressRoute is going to be essentially you're going to purchase a telecommunications WAN connection from a telecommunications provider directly into Azure. So there are various providers that provide this feature. So either way, you're going to have a piece of equipment, and this piece of equipment is going to be hooked up at each one of your locations, and that's going to basically give you a connection to Azure. Okay. The only thing is that doesn't mean that any traffic can pass between these locations. So what I mean by that is if we wanted these clients here to be able to access this server here or vice versa, that doesn't necessarily let that happen. So how can we connect all this stuff together? Well, you can do that with this Azure WAN technology. And so what it is you are going to add a component into Azure known as Azure WAN. So it's an actual Azure component called Azure WAN. All right. So I'll just say Azure WAN component. And then underneath that WAN component, you can create what are called hubs. So I can have like hub 1, I could have what's called hub 2, I could have what's called hub 3, and all of that is linked to this WAN component. okay? And from there, these hubs can be allowed the ability to allow traffic to pass. So traffic, again, from location 1 can travel over to location 2, over to location 3, and vice versa. And not only that, can also communicate with your VNets out there. Of course, you can do that anyway. They could communicate with your VNets without the Azure WAN, but the cool thing about Azure WAN is it's going to allow traffic to flow between these different sites and communicate with each other, okay? So ultimately, this is what the Azure WAN is going to let you do. Instead of paying a telecommunications provider to connect your locations together, you could do Azure WAN. But keep in mind, the prerequisite for that is you need to either set up a VPN router that can support this, or ExpressRoute, which is a telecommunications link anyway. Now, the VPN routers, Microsoft has a whole list of supported VPN routers out there that support this technology. So, like Barracuda and things like that, you go out there and they even provide you with a little script you can run on your VPN router that will auto set up the connection for the VPN gateway out here in the cloud. Okay. But ultimately, that's what Azure WAN is going to do for you. It's going to make it where these different locations can use the Azure network to route traffic and communicate with these different locations. This is John Christopher. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I want you to know that I'm trying really hard to grow this channel, so I hope you'll give me a like and a subscribe. Also, if you'll check the description in this video, I've got a link for you that can show you how you can get access to all my different courses. I have lots of different Microsoft certification courses that'll help you pass your exam. All right, thanks a lot for watching the video, and I hope to see you again.